The fastest way to fail in 2025 is to make this mistake, and what to do if you've already made it. Hey, Jay Williams here, and welcome to another Pocket Coaching. Now, if this is one of your first days back, starting the year, back in the office, back in front of your computer, and you're ready to jump into the year with enthusiasm and energy, ready to make this the best year yet, then this message is for you, because quite often, and I hear this from my clients, it can be easy to feel like we're on January 6th now. There's been a couple of working days within the year. It can feel like you're already behind. And what can typically happen is you see everybody out there doing stuff, throwing challenges, sharing new memberships they've created, sharing new masterclasses, all these new and exciting things. And it's all very noisy. I know in my newsfeed, every other bloody post is an ad basically, and the post in between the ads is someone else promoting their business. And it can make you feel, and I certainly have noticed this in the past, it can make you feel like I'm falling behind and I just need to do something. And it's this level of anxiety I experience, like I just need to just, I don't know, throw a challenge together, quickly do something. Now, I want to encourage you to do something slightly different. First of all, I want you to encourage you to breathe. See, the problem that I'm talking about here, and the mistake that people often make, is they tend to want to rush into the new year. And I get it. There's momentum. There's that group energy. There is 2 times a year when it's typically the best to actually get clients, especially if you're like me in the coaching industry, but I know across a lot of sectors. And that is normally December and January, and when the client is ready. So it's easy to think, I need to capitalize on January. I need to get off on the right foot. And I'm going to encourage you to take a breath, because I want to say that when you find yourself thinking just January, you're thinking on a very micro level and you're thinking very short term. And if you get caught up, that is a fear-based mindset. So if you don't know, I run ultra marathons. And I remember in the training for my last ultra marathon, I did a half marathon. And the thing that I told myself and this race, and it was a tough race, and I'd run it before, but I know that the mistake I made last time is I got too caught up in the adrenaline of it. I got too caught up in the excitement to get ahead in the race, and I wanted to do well. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And I encourage people to obviously better themselves and perform at the highest possible level. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I was doing. But the mistake that I ultimately made is I burned out too quickly. And I believe this is what happens for a lot of people in January. They try and go at things too quickly, too fast, try and do too many things at once, and they don't really think longer term. Now, when you think longer term, and I don't say longer term as in like 5-10 years, I just, for the purpose of this audio, I just want you to think at least 90 days out, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 12 months. Where are you ultimately going? Where is the ship going? Because I want to bring on a part of your mind that can think strategically. You're not just being impulsive. And in this half marathon I was running, what ultimately happened was I started running with my friend, and I started to feel myself getting caught up in the race, doing what everybody else was doing. Some people were getting far too carried away and burning themselves out way too quickly. And I was running faster than I'd prepared for, running faster than my training, my body would allow me to do. And I knew in my mind that if I didn't make a change, then I was going to burn out and I was going to mess up the race completely. So we got about 3 miles in, and I noticed this was happening. And I turned around to my friend and I said, Mountie, you go on, run your own race. I'm just going to step back. And that's exactly what I did. And what ultimately happened is not only did I enjoy the race, enjoy the process, but I actually got a time that was, I did a 1:46. So I was actually 11 minutes faster than a half marathon I'd run a month earlier on a flat course. And this one I was running was up and round a mountain. So what's the lesson in that? When you can get yourself to run at your pace and not be dictated by the cadence of other people's, and you can get yourself to check into the big picture of where you're going, and you're not operating from a place of fear or constraint around time, because that's what it is. It's like, I'm running out of time to actually get clients and get momentum and take advantage of this. When you think bigger picture and think longer term, you're going to be able to make more strategic decisions. And ultimately, that's going to allow you to actually create better results throughout the year. Now, how do I propose you tackle the year? Well, for me, something that took me 8 years to learn is that the human mind typically cannot find motivation for things that are long-term. So for example, if I said to a 20-year-old, hey, you've got to think about your pension, what do you think their response is going to be? They'd be like, pension what? I'm here now, having a good time. Like, the mind lives in the now. It thinks about the now. So if you try and think too long a time, I'm not saying don't have long-term thinking, absolutely. But if you try and go after goals that are further out and you don't break them down, it's going to make it difficult to find the motivation to do it. So here's what I recommend. I recommend breaking your year into 4 sprints, 90-day sprints. Especially if you're someone who struggles to, you're a good starter, but not a very good finisher. Compress the timeline. Make it easier for you to perform in a way that works for you. So do it in 90 days. And every month, have a goal for that month. So you might have 3 goals for the 90-day period, so 1 for each month, or it could be 1 big goal that you're working on every single month, and you still might have targets you want to hit within those 3 months. And what this is ultimately going to allow you to do is run your race at your pace, I like that, and ultimately get you to where you want to be. It's really the whole turtle and hare scenario. Now, if you've already made the mistake and you've rushed in, you've tried to create something very quickly because you've got FOMO, or you were like feeling that anxiety of being left behind, it's not too late to change the plan. Take a breath, think about where you're going, and make a different decision. There's no shame in making a change, because the question you've got to ask yourself is, do I want to make this change right now and be able to course correct and get myself off to the right start to 2025, or do I want to continue down this path because my ego is driving me to do it and I don't want to look bad because I've said I was going to do something, and then end up 6 months down the line and think, oh, how did I end up here? Which is it going to be? And so ultimately my message to you today is, if you're overwhelmed, if you're anxious, if you're feeling that urge to jump in and start something, chunk up and think about the big picture. Think about where you're going. Take a breath. And I promise you, this will set you up in a very different way to start 2025. Because remember, it's a marathon, or an ultra marathon in my case, not a sprint. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If this is the first time listening to this Pocket Coaching and you want to hear more about the latest releases, visit jwilliamscoaching.com/pocket, where you'll be able to sign up for notifications and get access to all of the old episodes. Or if this is the 2nd or the 22nd time of listening to my Pocket Coaching, I hope you've enjoyed this one. And once again, thanks very much for listening. Take care.